Good evening, everyone. Today, I think our topic is the lots of small additions are taking place uh, under the income tax law. So every time the only answer everyone would have, what is the solution of removing that addition? That will be the appeal. And appeal is a quite a costly affair. So first of all, we have to file the first appeal. At the first appeal, we have to pay appeal fee. Professional fee shall be there. If the matter is complicated, there are very higher chances that addition may not be deleted at a CIT appeal. So if a second appeal we need to file, that will be tribunal. So in that case, the getting the addition deleted for small addition, people may have to travel up to tribunal, and that could be costly affair for the assessee sometimes. So in this session, we are just highlighting what are the other provisions or other options are available under the income tax law under which that we can resolve the addition or probable addition through other modes. So for that, the first thing is available on the screen. The first option is there. Can we file the? So now let me take a scenario. If there is a notice is issued for making the addition for the donation, or maybe some other deduction we have claimed, which assessee knows that it is not the genuine. So in that case, if a assessee received the notice, then whether he can file the updated return. So earlier it was not allowed to file the updated return, but now it is allowed. So, what was the additional tax assessee have to pay if no notice is received? So, additional tax is 25%, 50%, 60%, and 70% is there over here. In if time period lapse is 12 months, 24 or 36 or 48 months from the end of the relevant assessment year. Now, so in this case, this is the tax amount we need to pay. If notice is already issued under section 148 or any other section 143(2), then additional 10% assessee have to pay. Additional 10% to the additional tax. So finally, effectively additional tax assessee need to pay if notice is received will be 35, 60, 70 or 80%. That is the extra tax. Now, just a clarification, this extra tax is not over and above the tax. It is over and above the tax plus interest. So my tax plus interest is 100 rupees and my tax is 60 rupees. So over here I need to pay 25% means extra 25 rupees I need to pay. That is 25% of the 100 rupees. That's how the calculation is there. If once you have filed the updated return, if notice is received for reassessment or assessment, then penalty they cannot levy. That provision is quite clear. So this another option is available with the assessee. That is the first part. Lots of other restrictions are also there, but that I'm not discussing upon because most of the restrictions are not applicable. I'm moving to next. Now, second aspect is there. Now, the earlier option we can exercise when notice is issued, but assessment order is not passed. Let me say notice is issued, but we have not filed the updated return, and time limit to file the return is lapsed. So then after we cannot file the updated return. That is the provision. Now, then after assessment order is passed and assessment order addition is made. So can we do something to waive the penalty? So for that, if penalty is initiated under section 270A, and that penalty could be of two types. Misreporting of the income, that is a penalty will be 200% of tax out to be evaded, and penalty can be initiated for underreporting of income. In that case, penalty will be only 50% of the tax. If penalties for underreporting of income, that is a 50% of the tax, then assessee can get the waiver from the penalty by simply paying a demand as stated in the notice of demand. And then after, they have to file the form number 68 with the EO within 30 days, and they also have to pay that demand within 30 days, and no appeal you need to file. If these conditions are complied, in that case the assessing officer have to waive your penalty. Not waiver for penalty, but also waiver from the prosecution is quite rare, but that benefit will be available. So these are the benefit visible on the para 2.3. Now, during the assessment also, That is this point, para 2.2. During the assessment also, we can request to assessing officer to levy to initiate the penalty for underreporting, with the condition that if you initiate the penalty for underreporting, we will not dispute the addition. Sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't work. So there is a matter of chances. So this is how, if you are ready to pay the tax on the addition along with the interest, you can save from the penalty at least. This is the first part. Now, what I have said is you can get the waiver from the penalty only if it is for underreporting of income. For misreporting of income, this benefit was earlier not available, but now it is available because of the amendment made by Finance Act 2026. So, can we get the immunity from penalty? Yes, but in this case, you have to pay extra 100% of tax on the whatever addition is made. So let me take a scenario. There is a 60 rupees of the tax and 40 rupees is the interest. So earlier, if it is a for underreporting, you have to pay 100 rupees and file an application, you will get immunity. But if penalty is initiated for underreporting, sorry, for misreporting of income, in that case, you have to pay rupees 60 extra. So total payment will be 100 plus 60 you have to pay, and then after file an application form number 68 within 30 days, pay that amount within 30 days, and you will get the tax, you will get the immunity from the penalty. Not only immunity from the penalty, but you will also get the waiver from the prosecution. Prosecutions are quite rare, but that immunity is available. Prosecution which immunity will be available from prosecution? That is a prosecution for willful attempt to evade the tax under section 276C, and for non-furnishing of return under section 276C. These are the section for the prosecution. If prosecution is launched, it's quite headache. Now, the best part of this section 270AA is there is no discretion is given to assessing officer. So once you fulfill the condition, assessing officer have to grant you the immunity. There is no other options are available. So that is a good part. So that is the second aspect we have seen, that if assessment order is passed, how we can get the immunity from the penalty if assessee is ready to pay the demand as stated in the notice of demand. Now, this is done. Now, whether anything else could be there. So another part is there is a dispute resolution committee. If we observe the government effort, government actions, since last many years, government is trying to reduce the small litigation. So as a part of that, even this section 245 MA is there, which is talks about the dispute resolution committee. This committee will have a 3 members. 2 members will be retired revenue services officers, and one will be not below the some chief commissioner level. This 3 persons committee will be there under all the regions. In this case, what is the benefit if we can go for this dispute resolution committee by paying a tax? We can again get the waiver from the penalty. But now, for going under this section, what are the brief provisions are there? My humble request, whenever you are going to make any application under this section, kindly read the provision in detail. These are the overall provisions are there. I'm not covering each and every part of the provision, but most of the provisions are covered. So, under dispute resolution committee, can you go? Answer is yes. So, what are the condition? Your addition should be less than 10 lakh. Your return income should be less than 50 lakh. And if this addition should not be in relation to the search and seizure or survey. So if a political donation addition is there and that is due to search to the other party, other third party, then also this benefit of will not be available in those kind of additions. Yes, but in those kind of additions, you can go for the immunity under section 270AA. Or in those cases, you can file the updated return when notice is issued under section 148. So, but this option will not be available. Now, under this, what you need to do, you need to file an application to DRC online, that is form number 34BC, by paying a 1000. That application you need to file within 30 days. Once this application is filed, you also have to send all the details to designated email ID that you can find from the e-dispute resolution scheme. Then after, once you apply this, you have made an application to DRC. DRC will issue the notice, and in DRC has a power to delete the addition, to delete the part addition. But in any case, if you pay the demand as stated in the notice of demand, as and when asked by the DRC, then they will grant you immunity from the penalty for sure. So this benefit is available. But once you have gone for DRC, then after you cannot file an appeal against the order of the DRC in front of the CIT appeal or ITAT. So order of the DRC will be full and final. Yes, you can file the writ petition in the High Court, but that is a quite costly affair. So these are the options are available. So I'm just a minute. So these options are available. So whenever you are not interested to go in the appeal, you can consider this aspect. One more thing, if you wanted to read more about this DRC, what are the source of this DRC? So DRC sources, source of the sections is section 245 MA. There are rules. There is a dispute resolution scheme is there that you need to read. Everything details aspects are mentioned over there. In DRC, what is the benefit available? At least you'll get a waiver of the penalty. So you have to be ready to pay the demand as stated in the notice of demand. That is a good aspect of this. So hope that it was useful. I think I'm just trying to keep the very short